Plus I only needed 2 chords. That leaves us with Mixolydian.
Mixolydian.
Close to what? Closest to a major or minor? G major. Only 7th scale degree, a half step lower than we would expect it to be. Instead of T, do, it's A. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, te, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So we can just take the T, lower it a half step to te. Try another key. So circle all of the Fs. And if you want to put a little arrow down over it to show it's F, that's lower. F. How many Fs do you know?
4.
4. 6. I see this example used in all the books. We actually had this for an example or something in one of our books. Is that rhythm? Oh, 6/8. So do. So we're going to be singing. So do, do, so, la, te, la, so, do. Ready? And so, do, so, re, so, do, re, fa, re, do, so, do, so, la, te, la, so, so, do, so, la, te, la, so, mi, fa, sol, mi, fa, sol, la, mi, re, do, te, la, so, do, re, fa, re, do. So you harmonize it. A G major triad, it's tonic. F major triad, G major.
It's very pretty.
Modes, I think, are incredibly beautiful. When you hear it kind of on its own after you've done a lot of major minor stuff, it kind of like, it's one note is not right. But when you get into it, it makes a lot of sense. Once you start to feel that that's not a mistake, it is really gorgeous. And if we were to put F sharps in this, you would not like the melody now. Now that you've heard it modally, you would not like it in G major. Well, that's the theory of how to sing modes. We don't spend much time on it because you're usually not called up to spin. In music that's been written, 80% major key, 19.999% minor key, because you have to make more decisions when you're on minor. And then 0.00 something would be the modes. There were composers who wrote in the modes. I mentioned a lot of old songs. Greensleeves is a Dorian mode. The Beatles' Norwegian Wood was a Mixolydian mode. Some modern composers, especially the British, they didn't want to go atonal like the Germans. British Germans never get along. So rather than go atonal, they went neo-modal, where a lot of the modern stuff is modal. Say Ray Vaughan Williams, some Benjamin Britten. And they have a very nice modal flavor to it. And you can do a lot with modes. Now, here's the problem. Can't teach you the modal theory. Look how long it took to teach the major and minor. Tonal theory. Modal theory is a whole nother thing. Dominant is not the fifth note of the scale. The dominant triad is not even called dominant. It's kind of a pre-tonic. And it's a triad. It's a triad that has to have one of these notes in it to show its modal. So a moment ago when I was harmonizing this mode, I kept using an F major triad because an F major triad doesn't fit in the key of G. So don't think of it like a dominant. The F major triad doesn't lead to G. It merely precedes to G so that the G is heard as modal. And that's the best short definition I can give you of modal theory, is you don't think of a dominant. There is no triad that pushes you to tonic. There's just a triad that is very often preceding the tonic, and it needs to have whatever note defines that mode as not major and not minor. You have to have a chord with that particular note in it just before you get to tonic to get this feeling of cadence. But cadence is very gentle. It just picks you up, gently dress you. Whereas tonality pushes you to do. This is just kind of gently.
Are there minor triads then?
Yeah, you have minor triads and major triads, but it's not supertonic median.
Right.
They have different functions because they feel different. They're a lot more equal. So we have a hierarchy. So we have the tonic triad. The top three are tonic, subdominant, dominant. This only have two. You only have the tonic triad and then pre-tonic triad that would have the note. And the rest are fairly, other than those two, they're fairly equal. So we don't have time to really teach a modal theory. I did take a modal theory class, but it was a master's level and it took a semester. And we ended up writing modes and trying to sound Renaissance and medieval. But it was like our harmony class. I mean, it's a long process where you say, okay, now we build the mode, now we look at the harmony, now we look at this, and it's just that you can't plug in a dom. You can't say, okay, the fifth note of this mode, I'll build a triad. There's a D minor triad now. That won't work. Well, maybe it has the F in it. So, but what most people do for modes is to just use them by ear. They just, it's actually very easy. If you want to compose and you want to get modal, a lot of people do it without even realizing it. If you find it looks like you're in a minor key, but you never go to a dominant triad, you never raise the seventh scale degree, you're probably in a mode. But it's actually pretty easy. A lot of pop stars will have little bits and pieces in the modes without even realizing they're being modal.
Ooh, can you give us some examples?
Let's see. A lot of the folk singers and the new age type of stuff. And even Metallica is very modal, but for a different reason. Can I use your guitar? Play your guitar or your can I use it? I just want to demonstrate how some guitars burn warmer than others. Does anybody have a lighter?
Actually, I got a lighter.
Oh, okay. Metallica used modes. Now they're using distorted guitars, so they're doing power chords, which are like a root and fifth. So they do these things like this.